Do you ever feel nervous visiting the hairdressers or going to your hair appointment? Now, you're not alone. With social anxiety on the rise, some people feel really tense about the idea of sitting in a chair and looking at themselves for a long time, and also making conversation with someone who may feel like a stranger. Now, combine that with the pressure that people might feel to hold up small talk or make conversation. It can feel a bit overwhelming for a lot of people to visit the hairdressers. Now, we as hairstylists know this, so that's why I want to share with you everything that you need to know about whether or not you should make conversation with your hairstylist, how to navigate that, and how best to communicate with them early on if you do just want to use that time for peace and quiet. So in this video, I'll go through a little bit of appointment etiquette. So things that you need to know if you don't visit the hairdressers that often, or if you just feel like you'd like a bit of an inside view on what goes on. How to best communicate with your hairstylist to tell them what you need, whether that be from your hair or from the experience of the appointment itself. And what to do if unfortunately you don't feel listened to, how to handle that. So when it comes to your hair appointment etiquette, it's really important to remember that your hairstylist sees many people a day, all of whom have different needs, are different personalities, and have different hair. So you should never feel insecure if you don't want to change your hair, if you feel like you don't want to do something fun or different, and certainly not if you want to sit quietly and not have much conversation. Now, most hairdressers are pretty good at sensing whether you're in the mood to chat or not. And sometimes you might go to an appointment and feel really energetic and want to tell your hairdresser all about your life. And other times things might be going on, life might feel a little bit heavy, and you just want to sit and use that time to relax and switch off. Now, let me tell you this on behalf of all hairdressers that I've ever met, and I teach and work with hairdressers all around the world. We will never judge you for wanting to use the time that you're paying us for in the way that you need. Some people, that's tapping away at a laptop, getting work done. For other people, that is talking non-stop and the fun and engagement of connecting together. And for other people, that's sitting quietly with your eyes closed, almost meditating through your hair appointment. And all of those ways and more are perfectly fine and acceptable. Now, if you are someone who does feel particularly anxious about a hair appointment, or maybe you're just naturally more introverted, a really good way to manage this is when you're booking the appointment, speak to the person who's taking your appointment, whether it's the hairstylist or receptionist, and just say something like, I know I'm going to be feeling a bit quiet on this day because of XYZ, you can choose to share or not. So I'd really appreciate it if I can use that time to just sit quietly. So don't worry at all if I'm not too chatty, but I'll be really looking forward to seeing you. That's polite. It's direct, and you're going to communicate your needs in advance so you haven't got to deal with it on the day. That's automatically going to make you feel more at ease going into the appointment and in the run-up. Now, maybe it's on the day, maybe something not so good has happened during your week and you're really not feeling full of energy when you go to your hair appointment. Just say to your hairstylist pretty early on, hi, nice to see you. I'm sorry if I don't feel like myself today. Everything's fine, but I just feel like I need some quiet time. Then, of course, you do need to have a bit of a conversation to talk about your hair. But once that's done, you can very comfortably go into that slightly meditative state and just relax throughout the appointment. Now, if you don't feel listened to when it comes to either the way that your hair's been cut or the way that your stylist has handled the appointment, maybe it's good to take some time away first to really process. Don't feel that you have to deal with things on the day of the appointment before you leave. Once you've left the salon and your emotions have settled, really assess and think, what is it that you weren't happy with? If you feel as though you weren't listened to and your hair is different than how you wanted it, of course you must reach out to the management and express your feelings and ask, hopefully, for them to rectify it. Every salon will have a different policy here, but I speak for myself when I say the most important thing for me is that you love your hair. And so if for any reason you don't, I would want to hear about it. But I do know sometimes it can be a bit confronting to have the conversation on the day, so it's perfectly fine to call up later on or to email if you prefer. I would always like to feel like I make my clients feel safe enough to speak to me on the day or in the chair, but I would never take it personally if they chose to do it later on in a different way. Now, of course, if you're going to the same hairstylist and again you don't feel listened to, it may just be that you're not the right fit. And sometimes that does happen in hairdressing. It doesn't matter how good or experienced the hairdresser is or how clear you are with how you communicate what you want. Sometimes it just isn't the right fit. And so if that is the case, then you maybe need to look for a different hairstylist. Now, what about if you want to go to a different hairstylist in the same salon? You would be surprised how most salons have a really open policy when it comes to this, and it's really quite rare to have bad feeling or whispers about people moving from stylist to stylist. So I really want to have you feel comfortable here about choosing the best hairstylist for you, and sometimes you have to try 3 or 4 different people in the same salon to find that, and most places will be really good at facilitating that for you. Now hopefully I've put your mind at ease a little bit about going to the hairdressers, whether it's been a long time since you visited or whether it's just not an environment that you feel comfortable in. But do let me know if there's anything else that you particularly struggle with in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back to you.